All right, in a previous video, I talked about how God did not create the universe, how God created the entities that created the universe, also known as the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind holds a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, bigger than the conscious mind of, say, a human or an alien. They have limits, they have ceilings, they have places in the mind, the bigger mind, that they cannot go to. But today I wanted to talk about and prove to you how God did not create the universe, because I know that there are going to be some people out there, especially those of you that have been locked into religion, and I have nothing against religion whatsoever. I have an issue with some of the beliefs, because I do believe that there's the truth and then there is lies. There are a lot of things in the Bible and in religion that just don't make sense. They don't make logical sense. And the first one for me is that God created the universe. So my question to those of you that believe that is, I want you to take a good look around you. Look at the poverty, look at the suffering, look at the rape, the murder, and all of the evil that's going on around you. Yes, there is some good, but realistically, it's more negative than it is positive, especially on this planet. So my question is, do you think God would want to create a universe where the individuals in that universe created life and then murdered it? Or raped a child? Or skinned a cat? Or do you think God takes a different perspective? Because for me, from my perspective, God takes a third person perspective. Basically, God sits back, and God is not a thing. I mean, when I did see God as a form in the formless, it was a little boy on this big, giant, fat dragon. A happy-go-lucky, kind of boyish look, very similar to what's on the Sun card in the tarot. I don't know if it was a boy or girl. It has no gender. That's the word. It has no gender. But God wants to explore the void. That's God's wish. That's God's will. God's will is to explore everything that's out there in the great void. So if God were truly to create a universe where it would expand and grow and expand and grow and expand and grow, it would not create a universe where it's stagnation, where it's control, where it's domination, where it's basically being stuck in a loop over and over and over and over again. It's what I call a hell loop. You never get out. Well, therefore, you repeat patterns, you repeat cycles, you repeat generations, like especially here on this planet. And it's true elsewhere outside of this planet, but I'll keep it here since this is where I am currently in this form. There's so many people, myself included in this body, that take on the patterns and the programming and the conditioning and the emotions and the memories of not only their parents, but their grandparents and their great-grandparents. And if you don't learn to heal that stuff, if you don't learn to see it and you don't know how to remove it from your energy field, you repeat those patterns. I mean, look at the people, and one of my sisters is one of those people that she repeated my mother's pattern almost to a T. So the thing is that we're stuck in an illusion on this planet. We're stuck in a stagnant loop, and this has been going on for eons. This has been going on since the universe was created. And then something happened. Something went wrong. It wasn't of God's doing. Because God, to me, from my perspective, when I had a conversation with God, or God told me, you don't really conversate with God, but whatever. God would never want you to be stagnant or stuck or not creating, right? Or not using your imagination, because that's where creation starts. It starts in imagining. You first imagine that you're going to do something. Your intention is to do it. You imagine it, you add emotion to it, and then you manifest it in this material plane. So if you answer that question, or those questions that I asked, would you really worship a God that created a universe that was so diverse, so polarized, so hateful, so destructive, so stagnant, so boring? Oh my God. No, because there's no growth, very little growth. Now we are seeing a big transition happening on this planet, because this planet is the testing tube. It is the petri dish for the rollout of the universe. Because if it works here, then it'll work in the universe. Because God's will to, especially in the Adam and Eve story, God's will to the firstborns to create life was create life in love. Create life as a two, as a loving parent, working together as equals in unison. Creating. Because the more you create, the more they create, and you guys keep advancing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And instead of being stuck in a hell loop, we see individuals who are creating their own realities, their own universes, multiverse, with their own imagination, instant manifestors, expansion, growth like no other. That was God's will. That's what God wanted from the beginning, when he first decided that we're going to create life. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way, which we'll get into in a later video. But I wanted to leave you with this. For those of you that think God created this universe, ask yourself those questions. Is that the kind of God you want to worship? That's going to create a universe that's going to murder, kill, destroy, punish, bully, steal, rape, hate? Is that the kind of universe? Is that the kind of God you want to worship? Because I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I want to be worshiping something that wishes death on me, which that is my enemy? It doesn't make sense. And I wouldn't. But we'll continue this storyline at a later date. Thanks for watching.